this very moment, how far are you from water? 10 feet? Maybe 30? On average, some women in Africa and Asia have to walk 3.7 miles a day to get to water, and sometimes it isn't even clean.
Well, what is clean water? It's water that is safe enough to drink without causing any immediate or long-term harm.
Clean water is essential to life as we know it, not just for drinking and bathing, but also for farming and other industrial businesses all over the world.
The world's water consumption can be measured by per capita consumption.
Oh! Okay.
Hey there. Per capita water consumption is defined as the amount of water used by an individual in a year. Drinking water makes up a very small percent of this figure. As you can see, household activities use more water than one may expect. By flushing the toilet one time, or running the shower for around a minute, 4 gallons of water are used. The amount of water that the average person in the Democratic Republic of Congo has per day. The world's current water consumption stands at around 3,700 cubic kilometers a year, with the average per capita being 1,385 cubic meters. But when each country's rate is compared, a gap can be found. The average American uses about 300 cubic meters of water more than the global standard every year, with countries like Australia and Canada following suit. While nations like Indonesia have annual per capita withdrawal of 372 cubic meters. The greatest problem arises in sub-Saharan Africa, where physical and economic water scarcity comes together to create the world's lowest rates of water use. Water is perhaps one of the most necessary components to life on Earth, not just for drinking and hygiene, but more importantly, for the food and goods we need to support ourselves. Agriculture accounts for 2/3 of freshwater consumption, while industry uses about 20%. MENA and Turkic nations in Central Asia have extremely high withdrawal rates. Turkmenistan, for example, has a rate of 5,104 cubic meters per year, with 98% going to agriculture due to inefficient farming techniques. So what does our per capita water consumption tell us when coupled with a growing global population?
While the world's population is increasing and its water supply remains constant, conflict is inevitable between the world's nations regarding access to safe drinking water. By 2035, it's estimated that 3.6 billion people will be living in areas of water stress or scarcity. One of the main factors affecting this is water's use in agriculture, which is roughly 70% of the world's safe drinking water usage. Industrialization is also another key factor that is using the world's supply of safe drinking water, as it's used to remove waste, and it also increases incomes, which affects people's dietary patterns. As people begin to eat more meat, which in turn uses more water, more of our water is going towards food consumption than it is available for people to be drinking. It takes roughly 2,400 gallons of water to make 1 pound of beef. That's more than a person in Kuwait has safe access to in 1 year without importation of water. Okay.
Throw it. What's up?
Many places around the world have trouble managing the water surrounding them, which leads to limited access to clean water. This is mainly because public services do not exist to manage the water within a community. Bangalore is an example of a place that has very poor water management practices. Bangalore also lacks a good quality drainage system. This poor system has many reasons behind it. Building material and waste gathers and blocks the system and restricts this water flow. Obstruction by sewer pipes also contributes to the problems that Bangalore has with water systems. Even with heavy rain, access to clean water is limited. The fact that communities do not focus on the management of water adds to the lack of clean water available. Without proper management or attention to water systems in a community, there can be many obstacles when it comes to having this necessary access. Even with massive amounts of rain, there will still be problems with purifying and keeping water in reasonable areas if public systems are not set up and managed well enough. Haiti also has problems with clean water systems. No city in Haiti has a functioning sewage system. Most water sources become contaminated because there is no sewage sanitation system. Unfortunately, this water that is exposed to people in the community is still used for drinking and cooking, which carries waterborne diseases. Some challenges with improving this water sanitation is the lack of funding and the fact that natural disasters hurt the overall environment in Haiti. It is clear that one of the main causes of limited access to clean drinking water is the poor management and lack of attention to water systems within a community.
Oh, hey there! Water infrastructure is a factor that affects access to clean drinking water. But the name infrastructure can be misleading. Infrastructure not only includes pipes, wells, and taps, it also includes water sanitation systems and systems that make water safe to drink. In 2000, the United Nations set Millennium Development Goal 7C, which states, by 2015, have the proportion of the world without access to safe drinking water and safe sanitation systems. In 2010, the goal to have the proportion of the world without access to clean water has been met. So why lump sanitation and access to water together? Well, because without access to adequate sanitation, then is water really sustainable? If NGOs such as Charity Water have only solved part of the problem. They've given people access to water, but what happens after the water comes out of the ground? Can water be recycled? Well, the answer to that question is yes, and it involves sanitation systems. With proper sanitation, water can be reused, it can be drinking and then done with whatever happens after you drink water. And then it can be run through a sanitation system, and then it's safe to drink again. So why aren't more sanitation systems built? Well, the answer to that question is easy. And the answer is because sanitation isn't glamorous. What's more powerful? A picture of a woman drawing water from her newly built well, providing for her family, or a woman working in a sanitation system? Well, obviously it's the first one. But without sanitation, it's inevitable that the world will run out of water.
There are many factors that affect access to safe drinking water. Per capita water consumption varies from country to country, creating an inequity in the amount of water people have to live their life.
An increase in population that causes an increased use of water in agriculture and industrialization.
Poor water management also limits the access to safe drinking water as well.
Infrastructure, including pipes, taps, wells, and sanitation systems, affects the ability of water to be reused over and over again, or the recyclability of water.